All right, Inside Star Citizen Review. Let's do it. Let's do it, please. Happy Cinco de Mayo, everyone. Hold on a second. Arriba, arriba, andale, andale, andale. Okay, hold on one second. It's going to be a crazy night here. We are going to have the Inside Star Citizen Review right now. I hope you all have your beverage. I am actually pouring some Mott's apple juice. It's my favorite. I love apple juice, and we are sponsored by Mott's. And as we do every Thursday, which is my favorite day, hello, YouTube. You're not here live. Shame on you. Shame on you. Yep.
Shame.
That is a big shame. That is a big shame ball.
Shame.
You should be here live. But if you're not, thank you for watching on YouTube. We appreciate you. Apollo, he's bringing it down. He knows what's up. He's making serious business. Nothing's impossible. Yes, you can. And we are going to be having an amazing after party afterwards. So for the people that are not here live, I'm so sorry if you're watching on YouTube, because we are probably going to have one of the best parties ever. We've got so much Star Citizen content to go over afterwards, which is going to be a blast. But I'm very much looking forward to this because Thursday is my favorite day. I love Inside Star Citizen. Now, we've only got a show here that is 9 minutes and 20 seconds long. And you know I don't like that. Like right off the bat. So we started off pretty decent this year, right? As far, we're in the spring season. We're in the spring. So it usually means spring, right? Get happy, spring up. But I've got a couple spoiler alerts in my Discord that were saying, hey, this one's not that good. And I laughed and I said, ha, 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 ha. That's because you're not watching it right here. Because right here, if you watch it here, much more exciting than just watching it alone on your phone. That's so sad. Sad music. Pepe, I need sad music, please. Can we have something that's sad or reminiscent of being sad, please, Pepe, please? That'll work. But I want something a little bit more sad than the sad trombone. That's like 1930s. And, I'm... All right. Let's watch this and let's check it out and let's see what we have to say about this. I want you guys very vocal about this. Let's check it out.
Hello. We talk a lot in the ISC about what developers are making.
I respect Jared's gravitas, right? I respect he's growing into this role of being somebody who presents, like a presenter. He's doing it very well. Oh, that's all, fingers like Tool. He's like, Tool. He's a tool. That's horrible. That's horrible. I think Jared's doing a good job.
For you, the Star Citizen community.
Oh, sorry.
But what you may not know is that in any large games development, there's usually a small team dedicated to making things strictly for the developers themselves. Tools development is at the very heart of what makes game development possible.
This view, we talked about this last week. This view is ridiculously insane. Like, good for him. He deserves this. Like, Jared really does deserve all of this. Like, he's been around for a very long time. Slow-mo, Jared? Are we doing slow-mo time already? Are we already doing slow-mo time? I don't know. I don't know. Should we do it this soon? Slow-mo. Slow-mo. We just started the show, though. People... I'm so sorry, but the chat is demanding slow-mo time, which is a special portion, a segment of this show, the Inside Star Citizen Review, that usually happens, midway, endway of the show. But they want to slow-mo Jared, so let's do it here. Slow-mo time. Let's do it.
And why each year's often more productive than the last. when building the never before built, it's often impossible to know exactly what you're going to need when you start.
That was actually very well done by our audience here. Let me just listen. That was probably the best slow mode that we have had yet on the Inside Star Citizen review. I doubted you. I am so sorry for doubting you. Drunken Jared was possibly the best slow mo that we have ever had. Fuck explosions, PvP, erotic whole A footage. I think that the Drunken Jared slow-mo has the award for 2022 for best slow-mo ever. Really. Good job, guys. Good job.
But as time goes on, developers begin to discover all the bottlenecks. The processes that, while necessary, can often devastatingly impede their momentum. And perhaps most commonly, processes that work fine for a small game, but don't always scale with a project as massive as Star Citizen. So we thought we'd take this week's show and dedicate it to some of the true heroes gamers never see behind the curtain, and enter the world of tools programmers. Up first, let's go to Montreal and meet some of the team there and learn a little about their most recent effort.
By the way, no more fire spray.
Mighty Bridge.
Depend who you ask for. The tool team might be the most important team of production.
In our team, the focus is to develop tools for artists, designers, and technical artists.
The scale in Star Citizen is insane, so we can't ask for artists and designers to make all the game fully by hand.
Technically, we're more on the procedural side, but our tools team is also geared for our Montreal office.
The main idea is if there is a need, if there is a problem, or if there's anything that could be made any faster or more simpler for a user, then a tools programmer can go in and make their life easier.
I am the most important part of the most important team, you know.
Oh, no. I will say what I've seen from the roadmap in terms of the UI being updated for the navigational map on F2 is very encouraging. So like UI updates through building blocks are monumental. What is happening is going to be very big, and I'm very interested in seeing what the vehicle flight team is going to do now that they're taking over for what Firesprite used to do. So that was interesting news as well. Firesprite is gone. The vehicle flight team is now taking over the responsibilities of Firesprite, which I think really what's happening is something very great within Cloud Imperium, and that is that they are actually kind of centralizing departments and improving communication within the different departments that they've got at Cloud Imperium. So I'm very happy to see this starting to happen. I can't confirm that, but from what I've been reading lately, it seems as if like communication within Cloud Imperium is in fact improving. So that is nice.
As Star Citizen is evolving, we add more and more features over time. So that means that we need to be able to set up and place new type of data, and so you need new tools for that.
We need to automatize a big part of the job to move further and faster.
Obviously, there is a lot to do because the world we try to create is huge. And what we tend to do as technical artists is trying to make the link between the developers and the artists themselves, because the artists are the ones, or the level designers are the ones that tend to use the tools, while the programmers tend to answer their needs.
One recent example of a tool we developed is the Mighty Bridge.
Mighty Bridge is a plugin for the game editor that link the game editor to any other software.
Right now, the main usage is to be able to work in Houdini and have some effects directly in Editor.
With the Mighty Bridge, the communication is done in two-way direction. It can send information and ask stuff to.
It was originally called the Mighty Ducks, but the French did not like that name, and then they named it the Mighty Bridge.
Houdini, for example, and Houdini, while doing the computation, is able to say, okay, you want to place a cave here? Give me all the objects in this 50 meters radius so that I can adapt the recipe and then send back the result. And with other technology, you don't have that two-way communication. So it's also help us doing more complex recipe and adapt the content to the game level.
Right, Dark Spike.
The reason why the Mighty Bridge is important is there's a lot of technical resources and knowledge in all kinds of amazing tools, like, as I mentioned before, Houdini. And by providing a way that artists can interact with the editor from the tools that they know and love and have learned to use over many, many years, they can make more easily the stuff that they want.
There's no time in between of like thinking about the logistics of every.
All right. But this is like a rehash of everything that we've seen before. We've already seen this. We know that okay, so essentially what they're saying in layman's terms is they're going to be able to create much more in terms of content in the level design, in terms of like city design, and like when they're putting cities down or an area of interest, and they'll just be able to like design it much faster, and they're going to need that, and they're focusing on that because why, everybody? Because Squadron 42, right? And they're probably needing places created. We talked about this in 2016. We talked about how there's plenty of areas that are already ready to go, but they're not letting the cat out of the bag. Because remember the Terra leak that I put out here before Star Citizen leaks ever existed? Remember all the Terra information that we got, and we got to see the statue, and we got to see the city, and like there's all these areas that are already actually produced because of Squadron 42, right? And don't listen to content creators who are like, oh, there's nothing going to be happening that's important in the PU because Squadron 42. That's the biggest line of BS that I've ever heard. If you're hearing content creators say that, block them. Don't listen to them. Stop watching them. They have no idea what they're talking about. Everything that's happening right now is so important that it's sliding into the PU. Look at everything that's happened in 3.17. The amount of content and the game loops and things that have happened in 3.17 has been a huge, amazing explosion of goodness. Where some content creators out there in YouTube land are telling you that, this was never going to happen. I was saying that's BS. And in fact, what we're seeing is quite the opposite. What we're seeing is the focus on Squadron 42 is bringing in tons of new content and mechanics that are awesome.
Everything, it just like does it for you.
We made the Mighty Bridge thinking about the future so that if we want to use other technology, we can plug them into the editor using it. And for example, if we want to use Blender or 3ds Max or Maya or Substance Designer, for example, that we are using, but if we want to plug them into the editor, we could use Mighty Bridge to do that.
Refueling, new mining gadgets. I mean, like
tools programming is core to whoever interacts with anything to make content.
I've been working in the industry for 15 years. I never found a project that has such ambitions. And I feel like these games... I don't know if it's
actually slowing down, though, Apollo. Like, that's the thing. Like, I would say quite the contrary. I think the focus on Squadron 42 is going to tighten things up. I think what we're seeing in 2022 is a tightening of everything in terms of design and in terms of the business model, in terms of what Cloud Imperium's doing with their employees, the communication. They're kind of just going... And they're like, let's fucking go. And I think we're going to see Squadron 42 pretty quick. And I think that everything we're seeing in terms of AI improvements, what we're talking about now, all these tools, right, that are helping with level design in a way in which they're bringing assets quickly in. Quick. All the things we're seeing right now are showing us that perhaps, they're really starting to cook with some fire here, you know?
Tends to always say there is
the whole
goal,
roadmap thing,
and we will do whatever it takes.
They got tired of just being as transparent as they normally are. That's exactly what happened with the roadmap. Like they are limiting as much in terms of what they're pushing on the roadmap because they're thinking that on a PR stance that it's actually more negative for them. Like, you know, the transparency is great. Trust me, as somebody who's been a long-term backer, I love the transparency. The roadmaps, I don't know. Like, I think roadmap content is kind of silly because it's like, oh, here's what we want to do. And then the time comes around and the things that you wanted didn't get put in and they got pushed back. And then you get triggered and you go off and your head just explodes, right? So like they realized that by doing this, by being transparent, it's like a tightrope. And they got to realize like when they put things on the roadmap, people are going to like expect it, even though they've got plenty of notes that say, you know, hey, this is what we're going for. This is on the work schedule. We might not get to it, right? So when they put all these things on the roadmap and they're super ambitious and they don't get done, people just go fucking nuclear. And it's a bad PR thing. It's literally the worst PR that you could ever imagine. And it's like they got to contain the fire. Every single month, they got to contain the fire. So them pulling back like they did, I think for them, it probably like relieved some of the stress and it allowed them to work a little bit more efficiently. My thoughts as somebody that's very familiar with the kind of the game development, you know, like they probably were just going a little too ballistic with the pressures from the roadmap and they just kind of scaled it back. That's my own thoughts.
To reach that goal.
Mighty Bridge is just one of the ways tools programmers work to improve the workflow of all developers. I
think we all are,
allowing for an unprecedented two-way communication between independently developed softwares that were never intended to speak to one another, shaving the downtime and removing the need for import and exports all over the place. But that's not where this week's Tools Time story ends, for we're about to go big with a tool that we've been dreaming about internally since 2019. A way to test our game and infrastructure at the scales we need while leaving developers free to continue developing. Let's meet the Cloud Test Launcher.
I remember there were tests in the company where people asked, can we get as many developers to join to see if servers work? Well, we can do this way, but we have limited number of developers, even if there is quite large number of them. If you take into consideration how many players there will be in Star Citizen, you will quickly find out that we need to have some way to emulate those users. The idea was created like 4 years ago. The first iteration was that you can go to the developer machines, install the software, and one person could simulate that traffic.
They do have a new building in Frankfurt, and I believe in Germany, or is it Manchester? I apologize. I did this story here. I think I was one of the first to report it. They do have a new area in Germany that they're going to be upgrading to. And in fact, I think it's going to happen into this year. But yeah, they're expanding. Their employee base is expanding. I think it's Manchester. That's correct, Chrono. Space Chester. Oh, looking. Yeah. They're growing so fast. They're literally building they're putting a construction lot right behind Jared's new flat. Yeah, right, Apollo. That's how fast they're growing.
Using those machines. Then came the next iteration of this idea, where we wanted to move that to the actual cloud. Right now, Cloud Test Launcher allows us to create machines on the fly when we need them, launch multiple clients on those machines, and simulate actual traffic. It actually launches a Star Citizen client, connects to the servers, and creates a very realistic testing scenario. Because you can say that there is network traffic, you can say that those players, even if they are emulated, they are actually doing something in
Wait a second. are they running this through their own servers, or is this still stuff that's going through AWS? Is this all going through Amazon Web Services that they're talking about, or are they just ditching? I doubt they're ditching AWS. I'm confused. Are they talking about this being their own server? Oh, running off the cloud, which is AWS. Thank you. Sorry.
Star Citizen, just like a normal connected client would. So this is quite a big deal.
It's routing traffic around to improve listen, this is improving. This might be what we're dealing with. AWS outages and AWS issues that are AWS related, Amazon Web Service related server issues that have been the roadblock. And perhaps they're creating this as a way to negotiate the traffic on their end.
As you know, we are going to introduce server meshing, and to be able to do that, we need to have reliable testing methods. And Cloud Test Launcher is one of those methods. For example, say that a client should go into a ship and fly somewhere.
This is what I've been asking for, actually.
Which would involve switching servers and so on. For us, in near future, that will be a very valuable tool to perform testing.
Interesting.
Of course, Cloud Test Launcher is not a single-person project. Many people help in development. I would like to shout out to Martin Senior, which is my team lead.
This is very important work. This is the number one roadblock to Star Citizen and the experience we want. This is the roadblock that prevents us from having an unlimited amount of players. This is the roadblock that prevents us from having these amazing fleet battles, and this is the roadblock that gives us the player cap. They are trying to find an end around from issues that they're having with AWS by creating some type of traffic control within their own servers that are hooked through AWS, perhaps. That's what I'm getting at a very basic layman's term kind of, as I'm watching this live first reaction type of feel. I could be completely wrong about all of this, but this is kind of how I'm picking it up. Yeah, like a traffic controller, right. Man, and this is what the Montreal has been tasked with Benoit Besséjour. We talked about this at CitizenCon, and we were saying how interesting it was that Chris Roberts actually put the task of server meshing towards Montreal and with Benoit. So, 6 months later now, we're seeing like results from changes that were made back in October. So this is really encouraging, and by no means are they even close to solving this, but it's very encouraging because they're rethinking it, and we actually are seeing information in regards to server meshing here. So I'm very happy to see this. I'm actually very happy to see this. This is a big episode for me. A lot of people maybe are like, it's not exciting. But like for me to see this, Besséjour, Benoit Besséjour. Thank you, Windlord. Thank you. Where have you been, buddy? Windlord, Jesus. You're like the wind. You're like everywhere, man. You're everywhere.
Who developed early versions of the Cloud Test Launcher. Also to Jaffa, who helped us in testing phase. Also Ahmed and Scott, who helped us with the network part and cloud part of the development of the Cloud Test Launcher. Without them, this would not be possible.
Interesting.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that Mighty Bridge allows our developers to use the right tool for the job, wherever that tool may come from, and to do so without having to leave the game editor. That Cloud Test Launcher will free up our developers in QA from tedious load balance testing and allow them time to focus on new features and fixes, respectively.
Right.
And that
all the tedious work is not tedious anymore because of Mighty Bridge. So that's a big deal too. So these are two things in game development that are very exciting. It seems kind of nerdy, right? All the nerd splation that's going on right now. I'm trying to keep it as like, you know, simple as I can so you guys can understand like, hey, these are things that are super important for the game. This is super important for the project. These are the reasons why we've been bitching about Star Citizen for a very long time. So what we're seeing here is the designers having more free time. That's huge. Like, you know, when you have this mighty bridge and it enables people to do level design at such a fast pace, they can actually focus on things that are that feature creep that everybody complains about, you know. And also here we're seeing this cloud tool being developed that could help with, you know, streamlining our way into server meshing. So I'm like, wow. I'm just like, wow.
ISC, we're going to continue exploring every aspect of game development before our time here is done. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all next week.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's not enough. It needs to be juicier. I get what you're all saying. Like I'm feeling the chat right now. I need more, right? It was a very interesting appetizer, bursted in my mouth with flavor. I really loved it. And then it was like, okay, time to go. There's no main course. And a lot of people would say, oh, that happens in Star Citizen Live. But like, I really want this to happen also inside Star Citizen. You know, this is one of those productions where subscriber money actually goes to this and creates the show. And I want a little bit more. Like I want a little bit more from Inside Star Citizen. But very good pieces of information. And guys, it's Cinco de Mayo. We're going to have a party. We're going to have a party. Pepe, by the way, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Don't forget to break that algo and click the like button. Hit it. Tap the bell. Do all the things. If you like the show, consider supporting the channel, supporting this great community, becoming a patron. Click the join button. I'm soon going to start releasing all the DG in the Morning episodes only to our VIPs, stream highlights, and I'm going to revamp a lot of things regarding for people who are supporting the show, like VIP access for a podcast where I'm going to start bringing in our own community for members on the show, talking about Star Citizen and other things. So I'm really much looking forward to that. But let us get it to the party, Pepe, if you could. And guys who are here live, you're in for a treat. We're going to have some fun. All right, let's party. Party it up Cinco de Mayo style.